on the 19th or the 22nd or the 23rd or the 24th of December. And I want you, hey Nick, hey to everyone that's come on, I want you all to understand the concept of leaving the office and having your car parked at the top of the hill. That's right. Leaving your office and having your car parked at the top of the hill. And today, my friends, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about success in real estate for 2021 begins at the end of 2020. That's what we're going to talk about. A big hello to everyone that's watching on Facebook. A big hello for those of you that are on Zoom. I'm very excited because I'm going to be sharing with you today things that are going to help you have your greatest year ever by adopting the methodology I call high tech, high touch. And I want to let you know that one of the real secrets, and I'll never forget it, Rupert Murdoch had once said it at a strategy meeting here in the building I am. I'm in a News Corp's building here in Sydney at the moment. And he basically said, one of the things you've got to do is start your first quarter strong. The way your first quarter goes is the way that your year unfolds. And the reason why that's so important is if you have a bad first quarter, what happens is you're basically in catch-up mode the whole year. So you've got around 2 weeks or so before we go away for a week of Christmas. But let's be very clear. People aren't going to Fiji. They're not going to Bali. They're not going to Hawaii. Where they're doing, they're staying put in Australia. And that basically means that if you look at the data and research that realestate.com has, it shows that year on year, the amount of people that actually look at real estate and look at selecting an agent to list with in real estate has been going up by around 30% each summer. This year, it will be even more so. And the reason why is that COVID-19 means that we're not having the exodus of people that have their Hawaii, New York, skiing holidays in Japan. They're staying put and they're going to be looking at this mobile phone. And today I want to speak to you about what is it that you can be doing in the last couple of weeks of this year to ensure that you're on the shopping list for 2021 in real estate. And I'm going to let you know, my first tip for you today, watching here, is this. My first tip today is that you need to call every person that you have on your database. Forget about A, B's and C's. That game's out the window. Do you understand there's a thing called COVID clarity? And COVID clarity has created buyers and sellers to change their mind in a very short period of time. COVID clarity is basically saying people are waking up and saying, I don't want to live in Melbourne anymore. I want to go off and live on the Gold Coast. Or you know what? We need an extra bedroom. You know what? We need a Zoom room. I can't keep working in the kitchen while you're working in the living room. We need more space. Or people are waking up and saying, you know what? Let's fast track our sea change, our tree change. And that's why the old game of segmenting people in the database is out the window. Someone that you thought was going to come onto the market in 2023 is now coming onto the market in 2021. Someone that had actually said, I'm going to be carried out of this place, I'm never leaving here, is picking up their stuff and then moving out to, Lennox Head or Ballina or Terrigal or Hobart. So again, I'm going to say to you that what you need to do is pick up the phone. And what you've got to do is go to A to Z. And this is the phone call you've got to start putting through to your database. Hi. It's Tom Panos here from XY Real Estate. Firstly, I want to wish you all the best for the festive season. Secondly, this is the time of year that I give all my important clients a quick wrap-up of what happened in 2020. And also, I'm going to give you a forecast in what we think will happen in 2021. This is going to take 1 or 2 minutes. Here goes. So you've got to move straight into it and you've got to make your calls, summary calls for what happened in real estate for the last 12 months and what you focus and what you propose, will happen at the beginning of next year. Now, listen, I know you're not an economist, but I've got to tell you, no one gets it right. How did they all get it wrong? People said the market was going to drop by 30%. The market's gone up in most parts of Australia. So you are the closest person to the grassroots of your marketplace. You have got a position that you can say to people, here's what we're thinking is going to happen. So let me give you an example of how that phone call might sound like. Hey, it's Tom Panos here from XY Real Estate. I want to let you know that this is the time of year I give all my important clients an idea of what happened in the market in 2020. This is also the time I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen in 2021. So here goes. This year, what was interesting is that whilst we had AMP, the Commonwealth Bank, ANZ, and a number of data companies forecast that the market was going to drop by anywhere between minus 10% and minus 30%. In fact, in our marketplace, the marketplace went up. And what's actually happened is we've worked out that COVID was a gift that was badly wrapped. It actually showed people that their home matters, that their home is their castle. I'm also going to let you know, from our perspective in our own market, we had an incredible absorption rate. That's right. Every property that came onto the market ended up being absorbed very quickly by the buyers. The reason why is that we've got an equation at the moment where there is far more buyers than sellers. And what this means is you, as a prospective vendor, can actually get a much higher price than what you would in a normal market. However, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, we're concerned. We're concerned that JobKeeper is leaving in March. We're concerned that banks are going to stop their holiday on mortgages around the same time. We're also concerned that some of the stimulus and grants that are there now are going to come to an end at the end of this year. And we're also concerned because people won't be able to access their superannuation at the end of this year. All these factors together are suggesting that there is a possibility that we're going to be in for harder times in March. So right now, let me tell you what most of our smart clients are doing. They're taking advantage of a marketplace that doesn't have a lot of stock, and they're often picking a strategy called sell high, buy low. That's right. They're coming onto the market and they're actually making sure that they benefit out of this buoyant marketplace. And what I'd like to do, and listen to the words I'm about to use, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, how open-minded would you be to me popping by, having a look at your property for 10 minutes, and maybe talking to you about what is called list now, launch later strategy, which basically means that you get the best of both worlds. If there's a hot buyer that's prepared to pay $1 million for your property and it's only worth 900, we can actually talk to them about it, but you don't have to worry about all the stress of having your property launched onto the marketplace. Now, I'd love to pop by either tomorrow or Friday in the afternoon. Friday I can do morning. What's better for you? Just to have a look and familiarize myself with the property. Guys and girls, that's the tone of the conversation you've got to have with your clients. And all I'll say to you is call me old-fashioned if you like, but I can't help it. In my 35 years of real estate, the girl or guy who has the most of those kinds of conversations wins. I totally get it. You've got a bunch of people that sit there and they say, oh, Tommy, listen, you know, I'm using technology these days and it's, you know, I've become the modern high-tech agent. Hey, listen here. Having someone in New Guinea that owns a pottery shop following you on Instagram ain't going to get you a listing in St. Kilda. Get clear about that. And I'm saying to you right here, right now, being famous on Instagram is like being rich in Monopoly. It is not going to make you a sale or get you a listing. What you want to be doing is ensuring that you're talking to the right people. And the right people are people that own real estate in your marketplace. And this, my friends, is still the number one technology tool that's come out in the last 50 years. I've got to tell you, the phone's the best thing. More conversations equals more money. And you've got to get on the phone right now. This is not the time to start having drinks at 12 o'clock every day. That's going to get you tired. A lot of people are saying, Tom, I'm tired. It's this time of the year. I've got to say to you, the reason why you're tired is it's got nothing to do with anything else but the fact that you're probably not sleeping great, the fact that you're probably drinking too much booze, the fact that you're probably not exercising, the fact that you don't have passion in your step. Why? Because you've got to make passion your paycheck. As Ash saying, pumped at the moment. And I'm pumped and excited. And I've got to let you know, energy's a damn choice. Never forget that. The other thing I want you to be doing in this marketplace is ringing up all your past buyers, because past buyers are a great source of finding out some of these people, man, I've got to tell you, they haven't made a decision yet, or they're about to come onto the market, and what you want to do is ring them up and say, hey, it's Tom Panos here from XY Real Estate. We spoke earlier on in this year when you looked at a few properties. I want to ask you, are you still buying or browsing? Or are you researching buying or selling? Or another great thing to say is, what's your understanding of the market right now? Guys and girls, there is no more important activity than to pick up the phone and finish the year strong and do your best. Like, even if you get clients that say, listen, let's pick it up next year, right? Hey, no, don't pick it up next year. And I'll tell you why. Because over the Christmas holidays, people change their minds and decide that they're going to go with another agent. What I want you to do is learn this strategy called list now, launch later. You list it now. It doesn't have to go onto the market. But the advantage to your vendor is that if you get a buyer over Christmas, and I've got to tell you, man, the eyeballs are going to be on the websites all over Christmas. And I'm telling you right here, right now, you have an obligation to have your vendors available to show their property if there's nothing else on the market, because they'd rather have their home on the market in isolation than in competition. So who are the kind of people that you've got to be calling in your database? Pretty much anyone that owns a home, pretty much every buyer that's come through your properties. And here is some of the reasons why you should be calling. And by the way, let me give you a brilliant script for you to use chasing expired listings. I gave it to my good friend and client, Josh Tesselin, to his team, and they absolutely rave at the success it's getting. Here it is. Hi, it's Tom Panos here from XY Real Estate. I notice you've been on the market for quite some time. How open-minded would you be to me sitting down with you to discuss how we sell properties in 72 hours that have been on the market with other agents for 3 months? Bam! That's it. How open-minded would you be? Think about it. Everyone's damn open-minded. Who wants to be closed-minded? Make it easy for people to say yes. Or another great thing to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I'm not sure if this is for you, but if I had a buyer with $1 million to spend before Christmas, would I be wasting my time talking to them about your property? That's a really good qualifying statement to find out how keen are they to actually get a deal done on their property. So, a couple of other things. If you're ever struggling to work out who to call, let me just give you a very quick lesson on that. The best people to call, my friends, are people that you can give information to, people that you can add value to. Because when you're calling people, I don't want you to be a commission breath salesperson like a puppy dog going, no, you're going to ring up and you're going to be an absolute pro. Why? Because you've got value. What's the value? You have information. Here's a call. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, it's Tom Panos here from XY Real Estate. I know that you're not selling right now, and I'm going to be brief. The reason I'm calling is because there's been a property that sold around the corner from you the other day. It's comparable to yours. And I want to ask you a very quick question. How has COVID-19 impacted your real estate plans? Great question. How has COVID-19 impacted your real estate plans? So what are some of the calls that you can be calling to people in your database without having commission breath to add value? Here they are. Number one, the first call is the just listed. The second call is the just sold. What's that sound like? Hey, it's Tom Panos here from XY Real Estate. Number 47 in your street has just been sold, and I wanted to let you know. Would you like to know what the new value of your home is? Oh yeah, what happened? Well, let me tell you, I'll be in your street the whole of this week doing 10-minute health updates. What day suits you best? Wednesday or Thursday? Make it easy for people to say yes. Give them a couple of options. Guys and girls, play the numbers games. More conversations equals more appointments equals more money. That's the business that we're in. Do you realize that there's someone dumber than you doing better than you because they're following this process? Have the conversations. So the just listed call, the just sold call. Then you've got what I call the anniversary call. The anniversary call is the call that you make to let people know that it is exactly 1, 2, 3, whatever, 5 years since they bought their home. That's the anniversary call. Then let me give you the last call, which is called the vacant rental listing call. This is the property that's been on the market as a rental 2-3 weeks, hasn't rented. Give the owner a ring and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I know that you're currently on the market as a rental. I've got to let you know there are some landlords that have decided that they're going to cash in. The money we're getting is unbelievable. If I had a buyer that had $1 million to spend, would I be wasting my time talking to them about your property? Feel them out, suss them out. At the end of the day, you don't ask, you don't get. Guys and girls, for those of you that struggle with actually making phone calls, can I just say, here's a very quick tip. Learn what I call the 4-minute rule. The 4-minute rule says this: no matter how stuck you are, no matter how much you're procrastinating, no matter how much of a rut you're in, what we clearly know is if you can get through 3.5 minutes, 3.5 minutes in doing an activity, you're in the game. You've got momentum. You started. 80% of winning is just beginning. And what actually happens is you want to start. That's what you want to do in real estate. You want to start. And I'm letting you know that if you learn to play this game, and this game is whenever you're procrastinating, just say, I'm going to do 4 minutes. You do 4 minutes, before you know it, you do 14 minutes. Before you know it, you do 44 minutes. The secret is to pass what is called the 3.5 minute mark. Once you've done 3.5 minute mark, you're in the groove. This works with exercise, this works with the gym, this works with prospecting, this works with anything else that you're procrastinating about. Guys and girls, I'm going to move on and also tell you that this, my friends, has been a year that has been quite extraordinary. And I'm going to share with you 10 laws that I adopted on March the 8th when I got off my last flight. And they said to me, Tommy, no more flying. You're immune suppressed. You've had cancer 3 times. You've had 300 cancer treatments. You can't get COVID. I got worried. And I thought to myself, I've got a problem. I make a living out of presenting. I make a living out of talking at conferences. And that stopped. So what I did is I wrote out my success plan. And I'd like it to become your success plan in 2021. Here it is, my 10 laws for success. Number 1, you've got to forget about yourself and you've got to focus on others. Number 2, you've got to forget about your commodity and you've got to focus on your relationship. Number 3, you've got to forget about the sale and you've got to focus on creating value. Number 4, you've got to forget about your losses and you've got to focus on your opportunities. Number 5, you've got to forget about your difficulties and you've got to focus on your progress. Number 6, you've got to forget about the future. Don't worry about 4 years ahead. You worry about today. You make sure you have a fine day every day. Number 7, you've got to forget about who you were and you've got to focus on who you can be. Number 8, you've got to forget about your events and you've got to focus on your responses. Number 9, you've got to forget about what's missing and you've got to focus on what's available. And number 10, you've got to forget about your complaints and you've got to focus on your gratitude. I'm going to make reference to number 9. You've got to forget about what's missing. And Gary, I want you to get ready to come on in a moment because I'm going to let you know when you forget about what's missing and you focus on what's available, you begin to realize, my friends, that we now live in a world of opportunity. We now live in a world where I'm sitting here talking to hundreds and hundreds of people into a computer webcam. And I'm letting you know, you could be sitting right now here in Auckland, you could be sitting in London, you could be sitting in Hobart. Gang, one of the most exciting things for me has been the fact that now we can become what I call high tech, high touch. Have a look at this. I go to my phone, I simply say this, send Susan the presentation. Bang. That now is being sent to my iPad, my iPhone, my MacBook. I press one button, there's a to-do list done, and people get their work done. Guys and girls, do you realize right now There is no need for you to drive for 2 hours to get someone to sign a contract. You just get people to sign on glass. Bang. Do you realize now your bidders don't have to actually go to an auction? They can actually bid from wherever they want. This is the world we live in. Man, if you thought the fax machine was great, man, the world that we live in now, 2021, means that we should have more success and progress than any other time. Gary, I want you to come into the conversation because it is a perfect time. Perfect time. This great man, I've got to tell you, cares about the real estate industry. And he's a guy that invested. He's invested. Yes, Jane, I will give you those 10 laws. I will give you those 10 laws. We'll find out a way. Maybe when we email things out, Gary, we'll send them out. But ladies and gentlemen, the gentleman that's just joined me on the screen, Gary Girawaran. Is that right?
I'll forgive you for the last name.
Now, Gary, you know what? I'm very good, but I've got to let you know, I had a goal, and my goal was in 2020, I would be able to pronounce your name perfectly. All right? I gave myself, 8 months, but it's a work in progress, right? But the most important thing that I want people to know is that Gary is the founder. And by the way, gang, this ain't going to be some big product push. This is basically me giving you stuff. Technology does not substitute you. Technology complements you. And trust me, if you're sitting there saying, oh, Tommy, I'm not like that, I just do my own little thing. Let me tell you, if you don't like change, you're going to hate extinction. And that's where we're going. Now, Gary, there's 2 products that I absolutely love and adore, and many of my good clients. In fact, yesterday I was having a client training session with Spiro Drossos. I did his office yesterday. The #1 Barry Plan group, get ready, #1 Barry Plan office in the group, get ready for this. 5 years in a row, form is temporary, class is permanent. This guy's class. Now, I know that you've got him using Anywhere Auctions. So, Gary, can I just tell you, what is Anywhere Auctions and what's the benefit to the agent?
Absolutely, Tom. So basically, Anywhere Auctions is a product that we built to complement your live auction process. And it's basically designed to allow anyone that can't physically attend your auction or doesn't consider physically attending your auction to still be able to watch and participate online. So effectively, we allow an agent, Tom, to sell a property on the auction floor and online at the same time with the intention of maximizing that auction attendance and participation level. So if you liken your auction, street auction to, shopfront retail, this is online sales that complements that. And it's a proven concept. When you have both, you maximize your auction attendance and participation levels. And that's what the crux of this technology is all about. And we've seen that since we launched the product last year, our attendance levels have been averaging over 70 people attending the auctions online. So that's 70 people, not walking away from the floor, but 70 additional people that are coming online to either watch or bid at these auctions. And naturally, as you have more engagement, more participation, better results, right? And on average, we've got now between 5 and 6 bidders at every auction since we launched last year. So that engagement level is really translating into results. And that's been one of the primary benefits that we've been able to provide, allowing agents and their stakeholders, being their vendors, to engage with more and more consumers to get a better outcome. And then, of course, the lead-in from there is, exponential when it comes to the benefit for the vendor, benefit for the agents from our complementary sides of the service, right? So from a vendor's perspective, Tom, if you could tell a vendor, right, and show them, I can actually open up your auction to the world and ensure I'm leaving no stone unturned when it comes to trying to find the most number of buyers. What does that mean for a vendor? It's a peace of mind proposition. It's no regrets. And as you know, Tom, if you can let them sleep a little bit better at night, that's a huge, powerful point. It resonates with them. And naturally, as agents are using the same 4 or 5 levers inside a listing presentation, it's a natural advantage and gives them a competitive.
And Gary, can I ask you, the 70 people that watch online, what data do you get from these people?
Great question, Tom, because we know if people are taking time out of their day to watch their auction live instead of going to work, their business, kids' activities, whatever, they're watching you, they're doing it for a reason. So we actually collect very useful information to determine what kind of people these are. Because these people, if they're taking time out, they're either a potential vendor researching the market or a potential buyer researching the market. So we collect things like their names, their verified contact details, their property preferences as they use our platform to look for their property. So things like what price ranges are they interested in? What suburbs are they interested in? What type of properties are they interested in? Even if they've explicitly said they're looking to buy. So it's very useful, actionable information that our client base has been using for a couple of years now, really successfully, to just churn over more business. Basically, more vendors coming through the system, feeding back in, more buyers coming through the system, feeding back in. We, even for your bidders that actually bid at these auctions, we collect information on their participation at the auction. So we tell you how many bids these guys actually placed. What's the highest bid they got up to? So you know how keen your underbidders were. Because naturally you want to close them off, right? Like if you sold a property, Tom, for $2 million, you want to know that 3 others went up to 1.8. So you can go, sorry, Jordan, you missed out. I've got something similar off market. Let me sort you out. Makes sense, right? So we provide that.
Now, Gary, look, and to me, the best thing about Anywhere Auctions, having spoken to the clients that I know that use it, they say, Tom, it doesn't cost us anything because we sit there at a listing presentation and we just say to the vendor, Mr. Vendor, I want to let you know. One of the things that's happened in 2020 is that some buyers actually want to bid with privacy. Some buyers, they've learned that social distancing sort of actually stuck with them. And some people, quite frankly, are very busy on a Saturday between school sport and shopping and doing their own stuff. And what we do is we allow the opportunity for our people to actually bid on a property without being there. So that's going to mean that one potential bidder could get you $100,000 more. And the investment for a few $100, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, is a simple question you've got to ask yourself is, should we take out the insurance policy to ensure that we have the buyer that might be the best buyer that's not actually there on the day? And most vendors just say, yeah, tick that off. Like that becomes the no-brainer.
100%, Tom. If you're selling a property 400,000 or above, and someone told you that, hey, I've got a way to make sure every single person that wants to or needs to consider being there, guaranteed has a way to be there, are you going to say no? No. If you ask JB Hi-Fi, right, what happened to their sales when they went from just having a store inside Chadstone or Chatswood, whatever it is, to having an online website to complement that service, did their sales go up? Did their engagement go up? Did their share price go up? It's a proven concept. And it's something that, I know is a conceptual dilemma. It was a conceptual dilemma early on in 2019. I think COVID sort of busted that out of the park. It's brought the industry to consider things a lot earlier than they potentially would have. But what it's shown, the data that it's shown, is we're getting even more engagement now than the agents have had in the past. If you had a good auction, Tom, you have 70 people on the floor. That's 35 families. Okay, let's be real. That's 35 families, husbands and wives and kids and whatnot. But then now if you have another 70 people online, that's 70 households that are now additionally engaging with you. An average of almost 6 bidders at an auction. That's a good number. That's a very good number.
Now, Gary, what I want to do is give everyone a couple of scripts that they can use to introduce this when they're talking to a client at a listing presentation. So I want you to hang in there, because in a moment I want to talk to you about probably the thing that I find clients tell me that they love the most about the new modern world of an agent, and that is the ability to save so much time having to rush to appointments to get people to okay things. But here's your first script, guys and girls, at a listing presentation. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I'm not sure if this is for you, but would you be interested in finding out how we sold a property for $85,000 more than the reserve without the buyer even being at the property? Bang. Because the first thing that happens is when you say something, Gary, like, I'm not sure if this is for you, but straight away they think, but why wouldn't it be for me? Like, you know, there's a little voice inside of their head saying, what's this about, right? It doesn't have the strong commission breath approach. It's sort of saying, I ain't sure if this is for you. But, so all of a sudden, they're focusing in. The second piece of dialogue that I think is extremely useful is this one. How open-minded would you be for me to discuss hybrid auctions? Everyone wants to be open-minded, Gary. No one wants to say, no, listen, I'm close-minded. I'm a bigot. I don't want to know. I don't want to get better. I'm stuck, right? No one wants to be that. Everyone wants to be open-minded, right? But Gary, let me move on to, is there anything else you want to cover about Anywhere Auction that is useful for people to know? And by the way, what's the, like, if anyone's sort of saying, shit, you know what, I want to set myself up, I want to get myself ready, I want to come back and make sure that I've got all the tools available. Let's assume that they wanted to use the last couple of weeks to go through the orientation. What's the best contact for you?
Guys, if you jump onto the Anywhere Auctions website, anywhereauctions.com.au, or reach out at team@anywhereauctions.com.au, we'll be in touch. In fact, that's what we're doing, Tom. We are literally packed with meetings right up until Christmas, just bringing agents on board who want to be prepped up and ready to use either the auction product or the private sale product, particularly the private sale product during this holiday period, because, you know, as you said, they expect a lot of people to be here in Australia during that period. And so there's no reason why you can't have off-market properties still having offers coming in, offers taken, deals being done, even during what would traditionally be a downtime period. So we're setting it up. So anywhereauctions.com.au, guys, contact us, or team at anywhereauctions.com.au.
Okay, and before we finish off and I give everyone else 6 more powerful scripts and dialogues that they can be using in their life to get more business, I just want to touch on Anywhere Agent, which is pretty much, it's all in the same app, but Anywhere Agent is not an auction product. Anywhere Agent is basically anyone in real estate who simply doesn't want to drive for 1 hour to get someone to sign something. It's basically about the fact that now people can sign on devices. They can sign on an iPad, tablet, mobile phone. Explain Anywhere Agent.
Sure, Tom. So, guys, basically, Anywhere Agent is an end-to-end private treaty offer management tool that we brought in. So, as you said, Tom, it's got signing elements, but it's more than that in that it's an entire management tool. It's basically designed to save you guys about 70 to 80% of the admin time and other time you spend in managing a private treaty campaign, including, you know, the driving around, writing up offers, printing, scanning, all that stuff, and of course the associated cost. But it brings in the flexibility to allow you to manage it entirely from your mobile device now. So it doesn't matter what time it is or where you are, you can manage it entirely from your phone or your tablet. What this system does, Tom, is it turns the whole process completely digital and paperless. So there's no more physical paper trail and printing, scanning, all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't matter where your stakeholders are, you operate it from where you are. So even if your potential buyers or your vendors are not physically there with you, you can use it. I mean, some of the key functionality that's probably worth calling out for agents that will resonate with them is with one-time setup time of about 4 minutes, you're now going to be able to take multiple offers on any private treaty campaign. So I'm not talking about one signature like DocuSign. I'm talking about being able to capture multiple offers and even secure those offers if you want to with the digital signature right there from your mobile phone, irrespective of where your stakeholders are. It takes about 3 minutes. So, you know, our clients spend about half an hour securing 5 offers instead of chasing it for 3 days. All right. So to give you some context, you can now review and manage all of your campaigns and all of the offers within those campaigns and the pertinent details behind those offers right there on your mobile device or your tablet device. So, Tom, most of these agents are driving around back into the office or back into the laptop because they have no idea. If you're managing 3 campaigns, there's no way you know the 4 people that are interested in each and their special conditions and whatnot, right? If you have all of that at your fingertips, Tom, what it allows you to do is review, manage, and action right from where you are. So agents do business on the go, which is more efficient, which is more productive. You get more prospecting, you get more business, okay? Then we have the ability to update offers directly onto contract within 30 seconds from your mobile device. That is a huge pain point for agents. Imagine being able to update it in 30 seconds, right? That's what this does. And we brought in counter-signing as a hand-in-hand function with that. So if you want to get, a good deal signed by the vendor and then slide it in front of the buyer, you can absolutely do that. And of course, final transaction execution, legal exchange of all documents. So it saves time, not just for the agent, but the admin staff that are sitting there. Even if you're saying, Tom, you're using DocuSign, your admin person, every time someone's interested, is typing it into a computer, putting it, tagging each of these documents, setting it up so that on your end it's easy. But what if I said I can save time for them, I can save time for you? That's what we wanted to build with this product. And now what we're doing with this product going into Q1 is we're bringing in the consumer element, because Tom, we literally have thousands of people that come through my platform on every weekend, and they hit register to bid, they hit view live auction. I want them to hit the make an offer button for private sales, so that it sends their information and their interested, price to the agent. So the agent can now liaise with them. Hey, Tom, I know you said you want to make an offer. I saw that come through. Look, tell me, what do you think your market's worth or whatever, and have your negotiation. So what this does is it doesn't replace what you're doing. You should still have your conversations, your relationships, etc., but it just makes it more convenient. So you can save time doing it. You're not forcing a guy to take an annual leave day to come into your office, or you're not driving to someone at 7 p.m. You can have them on a phone call or a Zoom call like this, Tom, and I've got agents that are taking an offer while they're negotiating, and then in this conversation, within 3 minutes, the offer's sitting with you, Tom, so you can put your signature on it while I'm watching.
Gold. Listen, so you don't have to be a user of one of the products to get the other one. They are independent. You've got plenty of clients that use independent. All I'll say to you is, guys and girls, this is a good time in the year to reflect. Have I got the tools available for me for 2021 to make sure that, when I start the year, all I'm going to do is put the handbrake down and let the car go down with gravity. That's what it is. Now's the time to set yourself up, to get real estate fit, to make sure you've got the technology and the tools. Gary, I want to thank you so much. We're going to have to be in the email that we're going to send everyone out. We're going to have the contact details. Gary's also going to go on Facebook and just, in the comments, put down direct details. Yes, guys and girls, it has been me giving a bit of a promotion of something, but I've got to tell you, when it's good for people, when I see that actual people are making money, and remember this, time is money. Managing your time in real estate is the #1 reason on whether you'll succeed or fail. Most people don't know how to manage free time. That's the problem. What they'll do is instead of spending an hour on the phone talking to their buyers and sellers, they're deciding that they're going to go for a drive from Coburg to Geelong. Not necessary. Spend that hour sitting down, having conversations. Spend that hour having vendor meetings. Spend that hour building your personal brand. Never forget, in real estate, when you work, and work means doing dollar productive activity. And what Gary's been talking about is 2 things that are going to help you be more efficient, be faster, be better. And never forget this, fast beats big any day. Gary, an absolute pleasure. I'm going to continue on with Scripts and Dialogues. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, and anyone I'm going to encourage that's sort of getting themselves real estate fit for 2021, spend the next couple of weeks checking out Anywhere Auctions, Anywhere Agent. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Tom. Merry Christmas. Thanks, guys.
Again, finish off with a couple of Scripts and Dialogues before we go. The first script or dialogue I want to share with you is the one for expired listings. And I used it before, I'm going to say it again. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I've noticed your property has been on the market for a few months. May I ask you, how open-minded would you be? I'll say it again. How open-minded would you be for me to pop by, spend 10 minutes with you and tell you how we've been selling properties that have been sitting on the market for 3 months with other agents? We get them done in 72 hours. Bang. The next one is a door knocking script. When you're out there door knocking, and why would you door knock? In the early stages of your career, if you've got no data, you want to get the data. And the way you get the data is you actually go and you find the people. Here it is. Knock, knock. Hi, it's Tom Panos from XY Real Estate. I know you're not selling and I'm going to be brief. The reason I've popped by is I'm doing an appraisal down the road. Today at 4 o'clock, once I've done that appraisal, I'm going to get a report done. It's going to have all the sales in the local area. I'm doing the report anyway. Would you like me to flick you a report as well? Oh, no, we're not thinking of selling. Hey, either are they. They're just getting a health update. Bang. That is the script for you to start getting data, to start building a database. The third strategy I'm going to give you is the strategy that I call going to the listing with buyers. Listen to how this works. You go to the listing presentation, you do your normal presentation, but in addition to that, you say, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I've got to let you know that when you gave me the address of your property, I went on an RP data and price finder and I sussed it out. And I came for a drive actually, and I had a look at your property. And I've got to say to you, I actually know your property pretty well now. And the reason why is I spent an hour studying it. And after I studied it, what I did is I cross-matched your property to buyers that I already have. And I found out that I had 112 buyers that would consider your property. But the next step I did is I went over and I filtered it down again. And I found the people that needed to buy a property straight away and that had unconditional approval, and people that would buy your property in your area. And I came up with 5 people. So what I'd like to do is to talk about these 5 people today with you, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor. I want to tell you a little bit about who they are. I want to tell you about their budget. I want to tell you about what they've looked at. I want to tell you what is non-negotiable for them. And I want to tell you what motivates them. Because we might find that in the conversation we have together, that I'll actually just introduce them to your property, and your property sells very quickly without too much hassle. Guys and girls, I'm coming out of role play. Talking about 4 or 5 buyers that might buy their home immediately is one of the powerful ways for you to get a signature on paper. Not only that, once you've got a signature on paper, there's a saying, never educate without control. If one of these 5 people don't end up being the buyer of the property, you can then quickly move into what I call phase 2 of a campaign. And that what you do there is you sell marketing. And you actually launch the property into the broader marketplace, REA domain, Facebook video, just listed brochures, maybe print media if it's still in your marketplace. Guys and girls, do you understand? Your job in real estate is to solve the problem. What's their problem? They just want one buyer to buy their home. And what you've got to do is make it easy for people to say yes by getting away the clutter and make it a frictionless decision. The third thing I want to share with you, guys and girls, is the Flexifee script. This is a script that you can use whenever you go to a listing presentation to what I call the catch and kill listings. These are the listings that are up for grabs for everyone. There's no relationship with any pre-existing agent. What you want to do with these people here, the Flexifee agents, is this. You want to win the listing based on your process. You want to win the listing based on your character. You want to win your listing based on the way you present it. You want to win your listing based on your strategy. You want to win the listing not because of your fee. And what you do is you create a listing presentation that becomes so good that they want to give you a standing ovation. And then what you do, my friends, is this. If you know that you're not going to sign it up that day, you're not going to give them your power. What's your power? Your power is your commission. The minute they take your commission off you, you lose your power. So what you say is this, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I've seen your property now and I like it. And I've met you and it'll be a privilege to represent you. And for that reason, I'm going to offer you what I call the Vendor Flexifee. When you're ready to sign up with an agent, I want you to pick the best agent. And then I'm saying to you, I'm prepared to work on the fee that you propose. That's how much I want your business. Guess what? That stuffs the game up because they're sitting down with their book, writing out, agent commission. And what happens is you come along and you provide an irresistible, unstoppable listing presentation and then give them no fee. You know what happens next? Often they'll call you back and they'll give you a better fee than what you were prepared to cut your fee down to. Please go to the Real Estate Gym and watch Shane Brocklebank execute this strategy brilliantly. And for those of you that aren't in the Real Estate Gym, I'm pleased to let you know that if you do join, you're getting 43 different scripts next week dropping into the gym. It's $620 a year, $65 a month. I'd love to be your coach for the next 12 months because I'm letting you know real estate's hard. You need someone in your corner. As Ash Airkill says, join up. He's been a long-time real estate gym member, and I'm very pleased to let you know he's an executor these days. He's texting me his result for the last 2 months every day. Guys and girls, before we finish off, I'm going to give you one final script, maybe two. This is to the vendors that say, "Oh, Tom, the other real estate agent said that they've got a buyer that's going to pay $1 million for my property. Why do we need to do all of this?" Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, if a real estate agent came along and told you they guarantee you 40 days of sunshine on your property during the marketing campaign, would you believe them? Of course not. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, agents don't control the weather and agents don't control the market. The market sets the market. Could it be possible? I love that word. Could it be possible? Have you ever been watching a docu-series on TV when you see a lawyer get up on the stand and he says to the jury, could it be possible that in fact the murderer was this man and he had a motive, and the motive was he wanted his wife's life insurance, right? See, when you say, could it be possible, it actually says to someone, hey, have you thought about this as an alternative reason why this was said? So here it is. Could it be possible that the other agent, in fact, lied to you to get the business and then have you signed up for 90 days and then force you down in price? Could it be possible that, in fact, the biggest liar gets the job in real estate? Could it be possible that the cheapest agent and the best agent is generally not the same agent? And the last piece of dialogue I want to leave you with, guys and girls, is this one. Can I ask you, help me understand, why is going for a cheaper fee more important for you than getting the best price? Great question. And the reason I say that, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, is the cheapest agent and the best agent is generally not the same agent. And I've seen a lot of agents go in, give vendors a low fee, and that vendor has saved a few $1,000s at the time of listing, but they've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars at the time of sale. Let me show you how to avoid that mistake. Guys and girls, this has been Tom Panos from the Real Estate Gym. Today, presenting to you a success plan for 2021. And I want to let you know that Gary from Anywhere Auctions and Anywhere Agent, he's a good guy. It's a brand that I represent. It's a brand I like. So if you want to get yourself to become the modern agent, the high-tech, high-touch agent, hit him up. Guys and girls, signing off.